going. We've got probably a few people out today, so we'll have probably a good number of people watching later on. Hola, Nora.
Hola.
Ah, y bueno, vamos a tomar un viajecito, a little trip, un viajecito al subjuntivo. We're going to take a little trip into subjunctive.
Hmm.
Maybe a big dip,
A
but
big trip.
we're gonna share a funny meme that Lori found for us, uh, which is very cute and very sadly sort of for us English speakers true. Uh, Simba, algún día el español será tuyo. Simba, someday, one of these days. Algún día is that one of these days expression. Algún día, one of these days, Spanish will be yours. ¿Qué es esa región oscura? What is that dark place? Es el reino del subjuntivo. It is the kingdom of subjunctive. Muy pocos se atreven a entrar allí. Very few dare to go there. Very few, the land where very few dare to go. And that is how people feel about it. And I do kind of feel, and I'm going to only say kind of because it's been so long. Sometimes, as I had told Lori before we recorded, it's good for me to remember that things that feel natural for me will not necessarily feel natural to you. Um, and okay, yeah,
I
because
realize part of my problem, Marilyn, is that the yo form of both verbs ends in O. And so I don't know necessarily off the top of my head, is this an ER, IR, or AR verb?
oh, from looking at the yo form,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
So
yeah, and
then,
there.
like, verbs that I should know that I learned right away, but
Like
I
you
don't use
say,
all that often.
viajo versus salgo
Right.
versus, yeah. And there you just have to know the infinitive and
So that's half of my problem right there.
yeah, yeah.
Trying to
But
remember. Hmm.
yeah. Okay. Are you going to be 100% super confident in subjunctive by the end of spring? Probably
Yes.
not, but yes, but better, but better. And better is what we shoot for. Perfection is an elusive thing and probably, dare I say, impossible to reach for anybody. Even for me, it is impossible to reach. But
Marilyn,
yeah,
by
see,
the end of spring of what year?
of what year, guy? No seas tan pesimista, Marcos. Don't be so pessimistic. But sí, entiendo. I do understand that. Um, okay. Uh, I'm going to preface this with when I do recall being like one of my uh, high school and even university department's top students. And yet there were times when I would struggle with, does this use subjunctive? And I asked one of my advisors, a very nice Cuban lady, and she said, well, I don't know why you're even asking me this. You see, here's a typical, why are you even asking me this? She said, it's so obvious because you use it to say what you mean. And I turned around like, that does not help. However, I hate to say it, there was a kernel of truth in that. There was a kernel of, you use it for what, to say what you mean is actually true. And
Hmm.
that means that even though we have rules about what must use subjunctive, you will sometimes hear people using it when you think, was that necessary? I didn't realize you use subjunctive with that phrase,
Mhm.
but yeah, they're using it to say what they mean, which is to say they are injecting I'm not so sure about this idea. And that is the best way to look at subjunctive. It is the I'm not so sure, or just flat out, this isn't there. Also, if you are looking for, if you are, as my husband is, a software person, completely dependent upon logic, everything is ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and if you are looking for that kind of certainty, that is not a part of subjunctive. Something that you think is completely obvious, well, but this indicates uncertainty and it doesn't use it. It does not follow that kind of ones and zeros logic. So, para que
And
sepas.
and that video, I hope I got my video straight in my head here. But the video where the lady was kind of taking us through all these other ways of sort of talking about things that may or may not be, or doubt and whatnot. There's like 12 different ways of expressing the same thought, maybe without subjunctive.
That sometimes happens, yes, which is why I say, please don't look for it to be a ones and zeros, a black and white. It is both the curse and the blessing of subjunctive because people will sometimes use it where you don't expect, and other times where, yeah, it's okay. So what I want to do, because Lori mentioned this before we started recording, and I think it's a good question. I kind of thought the video I thought this video had very good examples of subjunctive, and wow, why am I not getting your pictures on
Can I
camera?
make one other comment before
Sí,
you
sí,
start?
sí, claro.
I agree. There was a lot of good content in here, but of the folks that you've shared lots and lots of different videos with us, she was not the easiest to understand.
Okay, that's good for me
I
to know.
agree. I agree.
She was just not that easy to,
Ella es de
even what she
México.
was saying in English, you could see that when I put on the closed captions, it wasn't even whatever AI was doing, it wasn't even picking up on her English.
Okay, okay. That's good.
I put her at 75% though, and it seemed she was just so animated. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of fun to watch,
Yeah, there you go.
dancing all over the place.
Bien. Okay. Now I'm going to advise you for reasons I don't know, because yes, I updated Zoom, and now, as I told Lori, funny things are happening. Uh, while I have this share on, it is not letting me see you. Why is that happening? No tengo ni idea. I got no idea. So if you're raising your hand furiously, I cannot see you right now. So interrupt is what I'm telling you, because I can't see any hands. Um,
Well, we're a bunch of bashful people, so no problem.
yeah. No shy people here. That's a good thing. Okay. I know Lori said she had some questions on this video. You can't see the video, correct? The lady?
Yes, we see
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Yep.
Lori, give me a time marker you wanted me to.
Oh, just go to maybe where she has the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like just the start of the conversation. Okay. Now, I believe she's also going to have some slang thrown in here. Like, there'll be Mexican slang here and there. So, that is going to
That was
happen
okay
too.
though.
Oh,
That
that
was
was
okay
okay.
because she explained all that at the end.
Okay. All right. Bien. Vale. Let that roll.
Conversación, vamos. ¿Qué onda, Miguel? Te ves muy emocionado. No.
Te ves. Oh, well, that's not subjunctive, but te ves. You look really excited. Okay. No manches is hard to translate. It's un mexicanismo. It's a favorite phrase of Mexicans. It can mean no way. It can be like, wow, it's a surprise kind of phrase. Es que tengo tantos planes. It said I have so many plans that I want to share with you.
No manches, Ana. Es que tengo tantos planes que los quiero compartir contigo. Órale, pues cuéntame. ¿Es posible que yo también tenga planes parecidos?
It's possible that I also have similar plans. Okay, parecido.
Mira, quiero que sepas que
Quiero que sepas. I want that you should know, but we won't say it that way in English. We're going to say it as I want you to know. Who's doing the wanting?
Me,
I am.
Me, yo. All right. But who are we talking about as knowing?
you.
You. Do you know yet what's on my mind? No, you don't. Therefore, that fact of knowing is it's not even happening yet. And that is why subjunctive is there. Quiero que sepas, I want you to know is how we say it in English, and we don't use subjunctive at all. But you know in your mind when we say, I want you to know that the person you're speaking to, ooh, this is new information for them. Yeah. So that's why it's, and that sepas comes from saber. It doesn't look like saber, but it's one of the dishes, dishes, one of the dishes verbs, that one of the irregulars. And there aren't many irregulars in subjunctive, only a few.
estoy a punto de dar un cambio muy importante en mi vida. Es
I'm at the point of a big change in my life.
probable que deje mi trabajo actual.
Es probable que deje. And the implication here is that the deje goes along with a yo. She doesn't say the word yo, but she's talking about herself and her plans. So you just assume that, okay? Es probable que deje. It's probable that I'll leave my current job. Actual is current, as in right now. Okay. Es probable. Es almost all these phrases like that start with es and an adjective. It's not like saying Maria es rubia, she is blonde. These es phrases start off a sentence, and it might be, there's no way to give you a definitive list because they are legion. Es probable, es improbable, es posible, es imposible, es bueno, even that one is on the list. Es malo, even that's on the list. Es necesario.
What is
Okay.
the verb underlying deje? Dejar?
Deje, it's from dejar.
I guess I've never used that verb before.
Dejar, you might not remember, but dejar is a verb for leave behind. Well, dejar means many other things. Dejar can mean to let somebody do something, like I let my kids play in the water, or something like that. So dejar has many meanings, but here it means leave off with, yeah? Leave behind, leave my actual job. Yeah, I'll drop it. Yeah. And it comes from dejar, and notice that it's got the opposite ending. Okay. Many, many, many es adjective phrases will use subjunctive. And you've always got that que. That que is a helper. That que is a signal. It's a red flag that tells you when I combine es probable with que, I'm now talking about a human being after that. Okay. And we're going to see a little bit of the difference because sometimes S phrases don't use subjunctive. We'll see why they do and why they don't. We're going to take a look at more examples of that. Okay. It's probable that I'm leaving my job. The reason this is in subjunctive is that this is in the never, never land of it's not an actual fact yet. I'm still at my job. Okay.
So Marilyn,
See,
so kind of like the comment I was thinking of or made a few minutes ago. Instead, in English, I might say, maybe I'll leave my job.
see,
So, wouldn't, like talvez, right?
see,
Talvez, was it dejo mi trabajo?
see.
it's much more natural, at least for me, to say that than to have to go to a whole new tense.
Okay. This is why we have the Simba meme. Because now, is it okay for you to sidestep it if you're uncomfortable with it? Yeah, it's fine. And also, this kind of illustrates, to a certain extent, that sometimes, okay, the word tal vez, or same meaning but a different phrase, quizás, they people will sometimes use either subjunctive or indicative with it.
Oh.
And aha, and thus my Cuban profes prompt that you use it to say what you mean. With a phrase like quizás or tal vez, if people use subjunctive, they think it's iffy, questionable, don't really know which way it's going to go. If with tal vez or quizás, they use indicative, they feel a little more on firmer ground that that's going to happen. So they're indicating to you how likely they feel something is.
So
So,
Marilyn, it's not really a grammar rule that is not being used correctly. Because you hear many people, if I was going, well, the point is it's if I were going, or if I were going to do something, is the correct grammar correct? So you're
yes.
saying in Spanish it's not a correctness, but a
Ah,
process?
there are two ways of looking at if phrases. And this is another thing that becomes confusing. Uh, when if I were you does use subjunctive and must use subjunctive, but it does not use the present subjunctive that you see here in all these examples on screen. Si yo fuera, if I were you, uses a past subjunctive. And there are some very strict things to do with that, which I don't want to look at today, but maybe
Right.
next week. See?
Okay.
Okay, so. Um, and so, yeah, the whole thing of few dare to go to that dark region of subjunctive is true. Do you want things to be ones and zeros, black and white, and they're not. But you do have to take your cue. What is good to do is to take your cue from what you hear people saying. Si yo fuera tú, if I were you, I would do something, is the way those link up. And when we link up a past subjunctive with conditional, that is a set in phrase. So we'll look at that next week. But past subjunctive is kind of a deeper, darker hole than present subjunctive, believe it or not. But there are some harder set rules and some things that you can anticipate. So, okay, the takeaway after spring session is this: to recognize the patterns where this is going to happen and patterns where it will not
Okay.
is good. Will you personally get them all super right? Trying to use them yourself 100% correct? Maybe not. Will you get them 60, 70% correct? That's what we're looking for, you know. That's a realistic goal. Okay, let's let her roll.
Neta, ¿y eso por
Yeah, neta is slang for cool or really. And
qué? Puede que suene loco, pero quiero que mis sueños se hagan realidad.
puede que. Puede que. Momentito. Puede que is could be. So a could be is iffy. Might seem like it sounds crazy. Puede que is something that often signals a subjunctive. Puede que suene loco, might sound cuckoo, right? She doesn't know how the other person is going to perceive it. Pero quiero que and here's another quiero que, quiero que. There's a difference between quiero and an infinitive and quiero paired up with que. Quiero paired up with que always means I got a different person coming on the scene. And the different person coming on the scene here is not really a person, but she's talking about dreams, mis sueños. Quiero que mis sueños se hagan realidad. I want my dreams to come true in English. I want my dreams to come true. Hacerse as in become, get to this point. Yeah. And that se hagan has to be subjunctive because I'm no longer talking about yo, I'm talking about my dreams come true. Okay, quiero que, I want that my dreams might come true. You can say to somebody in English, I want that my dreams might come true, and they'll know what you mean, but it will sound funny to them. Okay, so not using subjunctive when it is natural to do it sounds funny to them, sounds off. Will they understand you? High probability, yeah, but it'll sound goofy. Okay. Okay, we're going to let it roll.
Loco, pero quiero que mis sueños se hagan realidad. Espero que pueda abrir mi propio restaurante de comida mexicana.
Okay. Espero que pueda. I hope that I might be able to open. And again, I don't really know. Usually with subjunctive, you need a different person in that other clause. I want to point this out. Usually the rule that we as English speakers are told is that what they call a trigger phrase, something that will later on in the second half of the sentence require subjunctive. Usually the subject for the first part, for the espero verb being yo, generally you don't want to repeat it in the second one, but here she did. I hope that I might be able to, or that I may be able to. When what you mean is may or might, subjunctive is what permits you to give that feeling to the person you're talking to. It creates that impression. I hope that I might be able to open my own restaurant. Mexican food restaurant.
Espero que pueda abrir mi propio restaurante de comida mexicana. ¡Ay, qué padre!
How cool.
Ojalá que todo salga bien.
And ojalá is one of those givens. Ojalá, you never have to think, do I or don't I? Ojalá uses subjunctive, period. So no debate on that. Ojalá, is not translatable. It's kind of roughly translated because it's really from Arabic is, would to God, which again sounds pretty archaic and kind of medieval. But what it means is hopefully, or hoping that, or wishing that, hoping that everything turns out well. Ojalá que todo salga bien. Hope that everything comes out,
Marilyn?
turns out well. Sí.
Question, do you always have to have the K after ojalá?
No. Some people will drop que with ojalá. I always use que. Some people routinely drop que. It is okay either way. So no importa. It doesn't matter if you use the que or not there. For me, it's just always been easy to use it because it's a pattern I'm accustomed to. But you will hear people very, very often drop the word que with ojalá. All right. Bien. I think because it is universally accepted that ojalá must use subjunctive, hopefully means that next activity is not part of the real world of really happening yet. That's what it is, so no question about
Todo
it.
salga bien. ¿Ya tienes planes concretos?
You got any concrete Plans?
Sí, en cuanto junte el capital necesario,
Ah, en cuanto junte, as soon as I collect, get together. Juntar is to join things together. Yeah. Cuando junte el capital, when I get together the funding. Yeah.
And what's the verb there? Juntar?
Juntar, juntar. So you can see again, instead of junto for yo, it's junte. As soon as I get together the necessary capital, get together the funding. Okay. Opposite vowel, because it's from juntar, an AR verb, junte. I will start to look for a place, a location, local. Local is a marketplace, an actual physical setting.
Empezaré is a future
Future,
tense.
future. And future, futuro, empezaré, future indicates certainty.
Oh,
Falls in that realm. Empezaré falls into the indicative realm. It might actually be useful for me to show you what falls into indicative versus what falls into subjunctive realm. That might be kind of helpful. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Okay.
empezaré a buscar local. Quiero que sea un lugar donde la gente se sienta como en casa.
Okay. Quiero que sea. I want it to be. Okay. And she doesn't have the place yet, right? This is still in the thought process. Quiero que sea. I want it to be. So we need sea. Yeah. She's not saying, I want to be a business owner. Quiero ser, okay, un ejemplo. Quiero ser el dueño de un restaurante. Quiero ser el dueño de mi propio restaurante. I want to be the owner of my own restaurant. No subjunctive. Quiero ser. I want to be. But quiero que sea un lugar. I want that that place that I haven't got rented yet. I want it to be a place. It has to be subjunctive because I don't have it yet.
Ay, me encanta la idea.
I
Tal
love the
vez
Could you go
pueda
back to
ayudarte
that?
cuando
Oh, perdón.
Could you go back to that last sentence that you had up there? Because I had a question about the se sienta.
Ah,
Because
oh,
it's
see,
not yellow, but
it's not
that's
yellow.
subjunctive.
And they should have made that yellow. That is an oversight on her part.
hmm.
Okay. Oh, qué buena pregunta. What a good question this is. Uh, okay, most of the time when we hear se sienta, we're thinking sit down, right? Sit down. But sadly, in
feel.
Spanish, we've got a verb sentarse, an AR verb, and an IR verb, which is sentirse. There, which is the IR, sentirse, to feel a certain way, sentarse, to sit down. One is an AR verb, one is an IR verb. They're both stem changers. So when you hear me siento just out of the blue, you've got to know the context of whether it means I feel a certain way or I'm sitting down. You've got to be in the context of what the person said before to know what they're talking about, right? Me siento muy feliz is not the same as me siento aquí, right? So me siento in the yo form doesn't tell you anything yet until you know the context. So here we go. Quiero que sea un lugar donde la gente se sienta. And this is not se sienta, sit down. This is because sentirse, to feel a certain way, is an IR verb, and we're using the opposite vowel. Se sienta should be in yellow. I want it to be a place where people might feel at home. And it's very easy to see how the scope, the real point, I will use the word the objective. The objective here, there are two objectives. One objective is that the place might actually be there, which it isn't yet. And the other is that people might feel a certain way, might get a certain feeling. And so we need that opposite vowel for I verb, se sienta, where people might feel at home. And those people aren't yet in that imaginary place. So that really is subjunctive too. That's all kind of
Marilyn, on that same phrase again, can you do like la gente va a sentir? Can you make it will be going to feel, or can it
posible.
be
It is
you
possible.
you don't have to go that way if you can.
Es posible. It's possible.
Okay.
Es posible. Uh, and again, in that case, you're kind of really implying to somebody that it's likely.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a very natural way to express this idea. Okay.
Quiero que sea un lugar donde la gente se sienta como en casa. Ay, me encanta la idea.
I love the idea.
Tal vez pueda ayudarte cuando empieces.
And she should have had the second verb, the very last verb in the sentence in yellow, and she didn't, but it's also subjunctive. Tal vez pueda ayudarte. Maybe I can help you. And this is not a for sure. I would not take this person very seriously if they said to me, tal vez pueda ayudarte. Maybe I can help you, but I really don't know. That pueda is very making it very iffy. Well, I could help. Yeah, if somebody said to you in this voice, well, I could come, you're not thinking this is a for sure slam dunk. Yeah, tal vez puedo ayudarte is okay. Tal vez puedo is okay, but you're expressing that I will do this. If you use puedo, it makes it reality. I'm going to do this. Tal vez pueda ayudarte cuando empieces, when you start. Have you started up yet? No, you haven't. Cuando can use subjunctive and can use indicative. When cuando is used with indicative, that means it's talking about your habit. This idea of opening a restaurant, opening a business, is not a part of reality yet. It is not her habit. So this cuando really could not flip-flop into empiezas. It could not. This would sound very funny and very weird to somebody to say in this sentence, cuando empiezas, because you're not, in fact, beginning anything yet. It's talking about something out there in the future, maybe, that hasn't happened yet. And that's why it's empieces.
So Marilyn, in this situation, because the one opening the business is so in the early stages, so iffy, we're using subjunctive, but like say she had said previously that she already had a location scoped out and a business plan, then it wouldn't be subjunctive.
If I were going to open next week, I've got my lease signed, I would still use empieces because you haven't started yet. If I'm going to start on Monday, that startup is not definite. It is not happening yet. Cuando with future must use subjunctive, and it will sound off to them if you don't use subjunctive with cuando in a future idea, right? Cuando with a habit, I do this all the time, is empiezas. Yeah.
So when I walk around the lake on Tuesdays with my friends, then you wouldn't use subjunctive.
Cuando caminas con tu amiga acerca del lago, means you do it all the time. It's something
Okay.
that you regularly do. Okay. Cuando caminas cerca del lago, well, when you might be walking out there on the lake. Cuando, cuando camines cerca del lago, es posible darle de comer a los patos. It's possible to feed the ducks. But you haven't gone for your walk yet. So
Okay.
cuando camines means if you happen to be out there taking a walk, but it's not talking about your usual pattern. So, cuando empieces is right there. Cuando empiezas would sound weird if you said that because somebody'd say, wait a minute, you haven't started the business yet. It's got to be cuando empieces. And that C is just a change from Z to C because we can't do ZE. That's just a spelling thing. No biggie. Okay.
Gracias. Antes de que se abra el restaurante, necesito que me ayudes a probar algunas recetas.
I need you to help me try out some recipes. Okay. Antes de que se abra. Antes de que. Antes de que. And a clue here is the que. Antes de, it's not, now, okay, here is a MacGyver, I'm gonna jigger this around so I don't have to use subjunctive. It would be possible to structure this to say, antes de abrir el restaurante, before opening the restaurant. Antes de abrir. Antes de. No person mentioned. No word que. Antes de abrir just means before opening. And that is not talking about anybody doing the opening. So antes de abrir is a workaround. Doesn't need subjunctive. But antes de que se abra, before the restaurant opens, the restaurant is not open yet.
And
So
why does it have to be se abra?
se abra. That is before it is opened. It is like se habla español. Se vende, for sale. The se there is like a fake passive voice. The restaurant doesn't actually open its own door. It is opened. Okay.
Okay.
It's a passive. Se with a verb is sometimes reflexive. In this case, it's not reflexive. It just indicates before it opens up, before it is opened. Okay.
I thought
It's
she
not,
was saying before I open the restaurant.
and then you wouldn't use a se, but often when we talk about post office opens, post office closes, and the post office doesn't really open its own doors. Somebody does it, some faceless person does it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah. For sale. Who's selling it? I don't know. It's just for sale. Yeah. It's a passive voice thing, just to say there. But abra from abrir. Antes de que se abra el restaurante. I need you to help me. I have a need is a real thing. It is a reality. So that have is indicativo. Necesito que. Que is a clue is I'm going to bring in a second person. I need you to help me. Necesito que me ayudes. From ayudar, a verb, we go to opposite vowel and we're talking to tú. And the me just means I'm getting the help. Necesito que me ayudes. I need you to help me. And English just says to help me. I need that you might help me. Will somebody understand you in English? I need that you might help me. I need that you should help me. Will they they'll understand that in English, but does it sound weird in English? Yes, it sounds weird in English because that's not the structure we use. This
So I
is
have a
the structure they use. See,
question. So what if it's like a mom talking to a kid and she's like, I need you to help me. And it's not like going to be a maybe thing. It's
same
like,
thing.
you're going to help me.
Okay, two different ideas. Vas a ayudarme. You're going to help me. Talking about what you're going to do. Vas, and notice, you're going to do the helping. Vas a ayudarme. See? But now, I need you to help me. Necesito que me ayudes. Necesito que. Quiero que me ayudes. Mama's even strict. Exijo que. I demand that. Exijo que me ayudes. Prefiero que me ayudes. I'd really prefer that you help me. See?
Why
Yeah.
is it? Why is necesito in yellow?
Because she's just linking the whole
It's
thing
just
together. Yeah, the necesito
the whole phrase.
is
Okay.
not subjunctive. Yeah.
No,
The necesito. Okay. I think whoever edited with this, yeah, probably the que me ayudes should be in yellow and not the necesito.
not these. Okay.
That
makes
necesito
sense.
is
Indicative.
indicative.
Right.
It is a fact that I need something. It is not a fact that you are actually doing any helping yet. That's where that falls in.
Necesito que me ayudes a probar algunas recetas. ¡Wow! Esta fue una conversación muy intensa.
Yeah, that's intense.
Y
Okay.
frases de tiempo.
So, now it's very interesting. I think Spanish speakers, it's interesting. I don't really know how Spanish speakers look at it. I think they look at it this way. They know that English does not really have subjunctive. And now there is a new movement I have found from looking at more videos. There is a movement that now says hogwash. All these rules of subjunctive, it's hogwash. And they use a much stronger term than hogwash, by the way. They cuss. Basically, it's a piece of, yeah, it's that. All this stuff of, oh, you need to have a weirdo verb, something that talks about wishes, emotions, impersonal expressions, recommendations, doubt, ojalá, all that. That is window dressing. That is garbage. That is not really true. Indicative either talks about what is, and subjunctive talks about what is not yet, what is not reality, what is not for sure.
I was hoping you were going to say there was a movement to get rid of subjunctive and just use indicative.
That will never happen. No va a pasar nunca. No, 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 chica, no, es imposible. It is too ingrained in the culture, in the essence of the language. But you know what? As English speakers, it does really help us to have something to hang on to. Okay, and the reason that this new movement has sprung up is that they say, look, English speakers, you really do use subjunctive. You just don't realize you're using it. But you know what? I guarantee you, no English speaker thinks they're using subjunctive. I want you to help me is not what they think of as that's it. No, it's just to help me. So English has many ways of saying that and different structures in using it, but it isn't what they do in Spanish. So you have to recognize the patterns that will lead up to this. And yeah, okay. So probabilities, possibilities, future actions, and look at acciones futuras. Future actions, that's where cuando comes in, or antes de que comes in. That's where, yeah. Because if you say, before he comes, let's do this, he hasn't come yet. So before he comes is a future action. And it will need subjunctive. Antes de que is one of those ironclad, 100% Antes de que, we'll have to use subjunctive, but not just antes de. Antes de que. Okay.
Tiempo para acciones futuras.
Let me go through. Do you want to go through any of her other explanations here or just that conversation? Larry?
I had one which, I didn't kind of understand the phrase. And I looked it up in my Google Spanish to English translate, and I'm too embarrassed to say what it came back as. So I'm sure there's probably a more practical translation. But if you can go to 6 minutes and 6 seconds.
Well, can I just say, I kind of like, if you could just touch on all the numbers, because like even number one, like the puede que, I had some questions. I have a lot of questions.
Okay. Let's deal with this particular point and then I'll look for each little point there.
Ejercicio en un mes, probablemente me ponga mamada. Sí,
Right
mamada.
there.
Yeah, that one. Probablemente.
Me
And let me get the
ponga
whole
mamada.
context.
Otro ejemplo es, si hago mucho ejercicio en
If I exercise a lot
un mes,
during 1 month,
probablemente me ponga mamada.
me ponga. I'll probably get. This is ponerse.
I looked up the 3 words together.
I
Me
see what
ponga
mine says.
mamada, and I can't, I mean, if we were all men on this call, I could say what it came
Yeah.
back as, but,
Yeah.
what's a more
Okay.
reasonable translation for
The
mamada?
mamada is you'll get a
And when would
very
you use it?
you'll get a very like my eyes are the size of a saucer dish reaction, the first thing that comes up when you try to translate that. In some places, and I want to tell you that in Mexico, not in all places in Latin America, in Mexico and a few other places, it's kind of like saying buff, six-pack
Oh,
abs kind of person, ripped, uh, really, really built, muscular. That will not, I would not use that word mamada in other places. Let's just say, and now I have to pick a descriptive word, by the way, to put in after me ponga. Me ponga muy fuerte. Me ponga fuertísima. Me ponga fuertísima.
mhm,
Me ponga musculosa. Muscular. I'll get big muscles. See, ponerse there means not to put on your body, but to get in a certain condition. Yeah. If I exercise every day, I'll get really ripped, is what she's saying. Not the other translation that I'll bet you found.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Marcos.
I guess it's vastly different than what you just described.
Yes, well, yes. And that's why many times one has to look through many long lists of what else might that mean, depending on where this person is from. Yeah, I would have chosen a different phrase than that. But there you go. Okay, a ver, let's go through our little points. Tres, uno. And she's just, I think
Que es posible que.
es posible que, it's possible that. I will tell you, this phrase will always use subjunctive, and that que is the key. Que is the key. There are times if you rip out that word que and you don't talk about any human being in particular, you may not need subjunctive. We'll take a look at an example of that today. See? Okay? It's possible that, and now after the word que, The que word now begs that I'm talking about a him, a her, an I, a we, and it's possible that this place is going to be in, it's talking about somebody or something, all right, rather than a faceless activity. Es posible que. And you could take out that word posible and substitute in imposible. You could substitute in necesario. You could substitute for posible, importante. You could substitute in interesante. You could substitute in bueno. You could substitute in malo. There are many, many possible descriptive words that could be where that posible is, but it's an es phrase. These are called impersonal phrases. But the important thing to notice is that you've got a que attached to it. Okay, we'll take a look at a specific example of
Que
that
indica
later on.
incertidumbre.
This
Indicates uncertainty. Es posible que llueva mañana. It's possible that it rains tomorrow.
And now it is different to say va a llover mañana. Va a llover doesn't need a subjunctive. Va a llover indicates future, as in it's going to rain. This is going to happen. So the way they view that, oh, it's going to happen. That's for sure. Okay. Es posible que llueva. Oh, could rain. Don't really know.
Necesitamos que siempre, que, no lo
But the que
olvides.
is
Número
important.
2, expresa duda. Duda es doubt.
Okay. Puede que expresses doubt. Puede que means could be that. Yeah. Poder means to be able to or can. And this is kind of like saying, oh, yeah, might be, but don't really know.
Puede que llueva mañana. No sé, puede que. No sabe.
This is kind of like a maybe. It's like a maybe idea. It's a hard phrase to actually translate because if you do a little translation, it doesn't sound like it, the same, but it indicates uncertainty.
So
It
if you
indicates
wanted to,
iffy.
she translated it as it might. So if you want to say
Yeah.
it might, it would be puede que. And
Yeah.
then can you just remind what's the difference with se puede, like the passive voice? What does that mean? Se puede?
Oh, se puede. Yeah, just
Yeah.
se puede. You can. Se puede is like se habla español. Spanish is spoken. Se puede, yes.
One can wear a swimsuit there, or one can go barefoot
Se
in the
puede,
park.
se puede llevar un traje de baño. You can wear a swimsuit here. Yeah, like there's not a dress code. You're at a restaurant on a beach, like that. Yeah. See? Or it could be negative. No se puede fumar. You can't smoke. Not you, the one individual, but any old you. It's that idea. Se puede. Yes, you, all of you guys, you faceless millions of people out in the audience, se puede, you can. That's all it means.
And se puede doesn't use a K, correct?
It doesn't use a K, just se puede. Yeah, people sometimes do that. Ooh, se puede, you can. You can.
Sabes qué va a pasar en el futuro. Tal vez. All these phrases that I'm mentioning now will trigger the subjunctive. Tal vez. Maybe you have been saying tal vez since you learned Spanish since day one with present without
Yeah, and she's saying sometimes you learned tal vez with a present tense
knowing
verb.
that you should be using the subjunctive.
Well, whether somebody does or does not use subjunctive with tal vez, they're sending you a message. So there is no hard and fast rule with tal vez, to be very honest. If somebody uses tal vez with indicative, they actually feel kind of sure. All right. Tal vez with subjunctive indicates just don't have a good handle on it. They're sending a message with subjunctive.
And that's one of the things that people who are native realize, he is a native.
So yeah, native speakers expect you to maybe not use it, but
Probablemente
probablemente is,
llueva mañana,
again,
no sé. Y último,
again, does not really indicate absolute certainty.
quizás.
Quizás is in the same field as tal vez. Tal vez and quizás mean the same thing, and you may see that or hear that word as quizás with an S at the end, or quizá with no S at the end. Both are acceptable. And again, quizás may or may not use subjunctive. What people use to speak when they use that indicates how certain they feel about that thing happening.
Expresa posibilidad también, no sé, posibilidad en el futuro. Quizás llueva mañana. Todas estas frases necesitan subjuntivo. Quizás termine este libro mañana,
Yeah, maybe I'll finish this book tomorrow,
pero no estoy segura.
but I'm not sure.
Otro ejemplo es, si hago mucho ejercicio en un mes, pero
Yeah, and we've got our mama
gimnasio.
laughing.
Si hago mucho ejercicio
There
en
you
un mes,
go.
probablemente me ponga en subjuntivo mamada porque iré a la playa en futuro. Iré a la playa. Yo sé que voy a ir a la playa.
Yeah, ponerse with a description means to get in that state. Me pongo rojo. I get red, meaning I blush, right? Me pongo cansada. I get tired. Me pongo with an adjective means you get in a certain
Y yo
state.
quiero estar mamada, pero no estoy segura. No sé, tal vez me ponga mamada, tal vez no. This is just a very quick interruption to remind you that
Yeah, and let's see if she's got any other bullet points. No, okay. What I want
No,
to
she had more because
She
she
has
had
she has cuando and cuando.
en cuanto.
cuando, okay.
no
Well,
sucede.
at 8
Voy a decirlo en inglés para que tú veas la diferencia. When I go to Mexico, I will dance. ¿Cómo se dice esto en español? Cuando, when I go to Mexico, es una acción futura. Todavía no.
Yeah. So if what you mean by when I go to Mexico is that it's going to happen maybe in June, maybe next year, and it hasn't happened yet. Subjunctive. If you regularly go there because you've got a condo in Puerto Peñasco, yeah, cuando voy a Mexico, when I go to Mexico, meaning I do this, I actually do this. It is part of my, I got a second home. Cuando voy a Mexico, it's a for sure. But cuando vaya means it will happen sometime, maybe, but I don't know for sure because it's out in the future.
No sucede, it doesn't happen yet. Todavía no sucede. Entonces tenemos la palabra cuando, que es el trigger que indica que el siguiente verbo va a ser en subjuntivo. No decimos cuando voy a México, no decimos cuando vaya, vaya es el subjuntivo de ir.
Cuando vaya, when I go to, when I might be on my way there.
So even if you like have a ticket and you're like leaving tomorrow,
It's
it's still subjunctive.
unless you do it all the time. If you do it every summer, cuando voy. If you're talking about your habit of going there, cuando voy. If you're talking about, I got my ticket in my hand and I leave tomorrow morning, it's cuando vaya.
But if you say, when I go to Mexico, I always eat lunch first or something like that, then it's Voy.
Sí.
That's your habit. You're talking about.
Cuando voy a México, siempre paso mucho tiempo en la playa. When I go to Mexico, I always spend a lot of time at the beach. It's just what I do.
Oh, okay.
This is something I do enjoy, and it is a thing I do. But if my ticket is in my hand for tomorrow, it is cuando vaya a Mexico. Yeah. Or a friend says to you, cuando vayas a Mexico, ah, 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 cuando vayas a México, tienes que ver las pirámides. You have to see the or pyramids, see? Okay.
Cuando vaya a México, bailaré. El otro verbo I will dance en español es en futuro normal, bailaré. Solamente con cuando, porque si tú quieres decir, if I go to Mexico, I will dance, es normal. Si tú dices
Yeah. All right. This gets to the question of, I guess, can you do workarounds? And sometimes you can. Yeah. If I do this, then maybe, yeah, it might have a different structure. But
esta
when,
frase con if, en
yeah,
español
if
es,
phrases
si
are
yo voy a
different.
México, bailaré, es normal.
Si yo voy a México bailaré. If I go to Mexico, I will dance. That is a normal structure. Si phrases do specific things with indicative, and some si phrases do use past subjunctive. That is a much more complex thing. I would never put in a beginner video, but she did. Okay. Because that is opening a big can of worms, but that's all right. Let's take a look at another point. En cuanto.
Usamos
This one
para
I
una
found a little confusing,
Okay.
her explanation.
Okay. And en cuanto is either while or as, like as soon as or when.
acción inmediatamente después. Por ejemplo, en cuanto termine de estudiar, no termino, termine en subjuntivo, en cuanto es el trigger, termine de estudiar,
When I finish, as soon as I finish my studies, en cuanto termine, meaning I'm still in school now. And it isn't a fact that I've finished my studies.
saldré con mis amigos. La
Yeah, as soon as I finish my studies, I will go out with my friends, and the will go out is just future, saldré.
segunda parte de la frase saldré es en futuro, porque estás hablando de tu futuro. El futuro tú no lo conoces, pero es un plan. En cuanto termine de estudiar, saldré con mis amigos. Siguiente frase, tan pronto como. En inglés puede ser as soon as,
Soon
como
as,
una
yes, sí.
acción inmediatamente después de otra. Tan pronto como termine mi tarea, veré la televisión. Siguiente frase.
Okay, so let me take this off and let's just, here's what I would like you to be able to do by the end of spring. You might not be able to construct a sentence like this, but to hear it, it should be sending you a message when you hear somebody say it, because this is not like out of the thin air kind of thing to say. Tan pronto como termine la tarea, and tarea could mean homework or could mean a chore, yeah? Probably a chore in this case. Tan pronto como termine la tarea, veré la televisión. As soon as I finish this work, I will watch some TV. I'm going to do this watching for sure, but I got to finish this yet. And right now I'm in the middle of this tarea and it's not finished yet. That action of terminar, finished, it has not happened yet. I'm in the middle of it. Tan pronto como termine, just as soon as I finish this job, this chore, I will watch TV. So for you to hear that, tan pronto como termine, that termine should indicate to you, tan pronto como termine, it should communicate that terminar action has not yet happened. So the chore is still happening. It's still going on. Somebody is still in the middle of a job.
So do en cuanto and tan pronto como always trigger subjunctive?
Yes, see. Pretty much. And those are the harder parts of subjunctive. They are the harder parts to understand. Okay, so we're going to come back to that during another lesson in May, because those are the harder ones to interpret.
Veré la televisión. Siguiente frase. Hasta que. Muy importante esta
Hasta
frase.
que.
En inglés significa until. Esta frase indica el punto final de una acción.
The final point of an action.
Ejemplo, I won't go out until it stops raining. En español vamos a decir, no saldré.
No saldré hasta que termine. It hasn't yet stopped raining. It is still raining. So the takeaway with these, and these are the harder ones, we're not going to practice any of these today. Hasta que termine. The rain is still, when somebody says that, what they're implying to you is that rain that has not yet doing the action of finish. It's still raining. Finishing is not a fact at this point. That's what they're communicating with hasta que termine. Okay.
I won't go out hasta que termine de llover. Until it stops raining. Hasta que termine de llover. Es decir, que voy a salir después de que llueva. Si la acción no ha ocurrido, usamos el subjuntivo. Si la acción ya ocurrió, usamos el indicativo. Ejemplo, I won't go to bed until you arrive home. No me iré a la cama hasta que tú llegues. O en el pasado, ya ocurrió, ya pasó, it has already happened. I went to bed until you arrived. Esto es normal. Yo fui a la cama hasta que llegaste.
Okay, yeah. I went to bed as soon until you got there. But if it happened in the past until you got here, well, it already happened. So it has to go into indicative, but then it goes into just a plain old past tense. All right. So now that is harder stuff. I don't expect you. We'll take a look at it different. But this antes de que is a thing, and focus on that more than después de que. Antes de que is one of those 100% things. Antes de que, before somebody does something, before somebody gets home from work, they're still at work. Before he should wash his hands, he's washing his hands before everybody eats. Everybody isn't eating yet. Okay? Antes de, with the word que, will 100% use subjunctive. Now, I want to stop it there for a minute because she's getting into the weeds. But what I want to show you is some ways things can... Ooh. Some ways you can know, or maybe you might look at it as the workaround situations. Okay, vamos a ver. And you'll get this bit. Vamos. You could look at this in a way as a workaround. And again, because I'm sharing, don't raise your hand. Just interrupt me if you have a question. Es mejor salir temprano. This is what es mejor is what we call an impersonal phrase. It has the word es. It has a descriptive adjective type word. And it's doesn't oh, and notice there is no word que.
Mhm.
Es mejor salir temprano. I am not talking about any human being in particular. I'm talking about anybody in the faceless crowd, anybody at all, and nobody in particular. Es mejor salir temprano. It's better to leave early. Okay? In a case like that, that impersonal phrase doesn't need anything other than salir, an infinitive, just tagged onto the end. Es mejor salir temprano. But once I inject a human being into that, once I inject the word que, it means I'm going to be connecting a human being or maybe an it situation into that idea. Es mejor que el paciente salga temprano. It's better that the patient leaves a little early. And now we're talking about el paciente, the patient. Yeah? And because I've injected a person, I've got the word K warning me I'm going to be putting a human being in there. Now I need a subjunctive. Es mejor que el paciente salga, puts a face on that person. ¿Entienden? ¿Sí? Once I put a face on the person and I'd say that person is doing an action that has not yet really happened, it's not going on right now, I need subjunctive. Okay? Yeah. You can look at this as an objective. Is the objective for the patient to leave early? Yes. Has the patient actually left yet? No. So we use salga. Es mejor que, but for most English speakers, the easier thing to condition yourself to listen for is es mejor que. Es mejor que with a person. Es mejor que el paciente salga temprano. Okay? Or let's use not instead of es mejor. And notice this isn't even the es posible. It hasn't even got the possible or maybe idea plugged in yet. It's an es, impersonal phrase. Es buena idea. It's a good idea. Es buena idea ordenar el cuarto. It's a good idea to tidy up the room. Am I saying who should do the tidying up? I'm not saying who should do the tidying up. Could be me, could be my kid, could be my spouse, could be somebody coming in to help with the cleaning. We don't know. There is no face put on that. There is no word que in there. I don't need subjunctive. For es buena idea ordenar el cuarto.
So
I'm just
is it
saying it's
is
good
it
to do.
partly because they like to be less in your face that they use this? Because it seems like I see the mom saying, you should clean your room.
Yeah,
I mean, I
right.
wouldn't tell my daughter, it's a good idea for you to clean your room.
Yeah. This is very much not this is being very hands off. It's just stating, I see this condition.
Or they would say in Minnesota, you're being passive aggressive.
Yeah, you
It's
could
a
look
good
at it that way.
idea that you should clean your
Yeah,
room.
yeah. But I'm not looking at you. Yeah, right. But once I say es buena idea que,
But even that seems very, kind of passive.
it's the structure. It's the structure. I have a que, and now I am putting a face on who needs to be doing that. I'm putting a face on who is not doing it, but should be doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that person it? Okay, if somebody says, es buena idea que tu hermana ordene su cuarto, it's a good idea that your sister tidies up her room. Is she doing that? No, she isn't. Would you like it? Yes. Is it going to happen? Don't know. Is the tidying up happening at all? No, it isn't happening. Gee, it would be nice. Many things are, gee, it would be nice, but they're not necessarily happening, right? I could even take out es buena idea and just put in bueno. Es bueno. And same thing. Same thing. Es bwimp is really bad. That's what happens when you get your fingers on the wrong keys. Es biemp. No. Es bueno. Es bueno. It can be as simple as that. Okay. Bien. So, okay. Impersonal phrases. That's why, even though some people poo-poo the idea of impersonal phrases, it is actually a good idea that, this is one of those structures, it will just use subjunctive. Okay. Okay. Quiero ayudarte. I want to help you. I want to help you. Oh, who's doing the helping? It's still referring back to me. Quiero with an infinitive means whoever is doing that quiero action is talking about themselves actually performing that, potentially. Yeah. Quiero ayudarte. I want to help you. But if you want somebody else to do something, it's got to be quiero que. Quiero que me ayudes. Quiero que me ayudes. Right? The fact that I want something, quiero is indicative. But when I tag on the que and I put another human being, that means that that other human being is not actually doing the action. I want them to, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It isn't actually happening yet. All right. This subjunctive always tells you this is not, in fact, actually happening yet. This is not, in fact, actually happening yet. The patient is still sitting in their in their hospital room. Que el paciente salga temprano. He's not actually setting foot out the door yet. Okay? Bien? You always know with when you hear somebody using a verb with subjunctive that that action is not in fact happening yet. As much as you want something to be true, it might not be happening yet. Okay. We had a couple of examples she had with espero. Espero ganar más. Espero ganar más en mi nuevo empleo. I hope to earn more in my job. I hope to earn. Who's doing the hoping? I am. Who is theoretically doing the earning? Still me. No subjunctive, just verb and infinitive, verb and infinitive. We're still talking about the same human being. It could be esperamos ganar más en nuestro nuevo empleo. We hope to earn more in our new job. It could be Alicia espera ganar más en su nuevo empleo. Alicia hopes to earn more. Whoever it is, that person hopes to be doing that themselves. Okay? But once I get espero que, espero ganar, I hope to earn. I am anticipating earning this. Espero que, I hope that. Somebody else. Espero que mi pareja gane más dinero en su empleo. Espero que mi pareja gane más dinero. I hope that my partner earns more money. I am doing the hoping, but the earning part, somebody else is doing, and it isn't happening yet. Okay? One person, espero, we tag on the que. We have now a different person in here. Subjunctive. Okay? Preferimos visitar en mayo. We prefer to visit in May. Preferimos que los nietos visiten en mayo. We prefer that the grandkids come to visit in May. We prefer, and the grandkiddies are still where they live at home with mom and dad, right? They haven't started their trip yet. See? In all these cases, the earning isn't happening yet, right? The visit hasn't started yet. They haven't left the house. They're still at home. Preferimos que los nietos visiten en mayo. It's off there in the future. It is an objective for the grandkids to do this. It is not an objective that we prefer. It's just a fact that we prefer, but it's an objective that the kids visit. It's an objective that they're earning. I have this hope, and that's a reality, my dream, my hope, my wish. But the earning more money isn't happening yet because it's dependent on a different person. Because this is dependent on a different person. See? Bien? Does that make a little more sense? Un poquito? We have
Yes.
to look at the cuando and the hasta que and all that stuff later. Es más complicado. It's more complicated. We have to do things that are more, you can digest it and recognize it and use it faster. So I have given you the file on the affirm with a sí or a no that I have given you this file last week, right? How to form?
See,
See?
Yes.
Yeah, see. Okay. This weirdo thing is the thing that some of the purists who are native speakers, I'm going to say that depending on this weirdo thing is garbage. But I have to tell you, from an English speaker's perspective, it is really kind of, it's very helpful. It is very, very helpful. Okay. And weirdo,
Marilyn,
see,
have have you got one of those websites like you've had from time to time given us exercises to do where it just has, I'm not begging for lots of work, but frankly, seeing a list like you just
like
showed
some fill in
us
the blank
is
stuff.
really helpful.
Yeah.
Like, has, I don't know, 10 or 15 of these. How would you say this? And give us give us
Um,
some to try
I'll
putting
look for
together.
something that might be able to do that. Actually, what I would like you guys to do would be to create some examples with this. Has anybody done that yet or not?
I
no,
did.
Yeah.
See? Okay. Um, Also, what I'm going to tell you, actually, we'll revisit those. Also, I'm going to put something on screen. What I would like you to do, ooh, momentito.
Oh, that's subjunctive. I would like you to.
I would like you to, yes,
You're going
because
subjunctive after that.
yeah, I would like you to come at 2
Okay.
is different than I would like to come because who's doing the coming to the house? I am. I would like to come. I'm doing the coming. I would like you to come is a different story.
So that was a use of subjunctive, but in
See,
English.
see. Okay. What I Lo que yo quiero, what I would like, and I'm going to simplify this a little bit because some of these are harder. I'm going to take the harder ones off. I would like you to uh, create a side 1 and side 2, your own examples on this for next week. So it's going to be a side 1, no subjunctive needed. And and how do you do this? Because this is really the way this was designed. And a side 2 where I need a subjunctive. And use these exact phrases. I'm going to plug in the part that is set, but you're going to change the second half.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep this the same, but change the second half and put in your own idea, whatever that may be. Yeah, see? Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm taking things that are very typical where you might hear it one way, no subjunctive, and you might hear it with subjunctive. And it's good to know that it could be coming at you either way, but to see the difference, okay? And I will leave off with this idea. The difference is this, even though the verb is the same in each of these examples, right? Recomiendas is still on the end here, recomiendas. But when it's recomiendas que and a new different person, I need subjunctive. When it's me gusta que and now I'm mentioning an actual human being. When it's preferimos que and now I have a different human being. Yeah, that's when we need subjunctive because I can prefer, I can wish for, I can want as much as I want. I can want all day long. That doesn't mean the other person is going to do it. I cannot control what the other person does. What that other person does is not yet part of reality. So I want you to construct this, use the same underlying thing, but create something different and new, a different type of idea with that. Does that make sense? See? Bien.
Sí.
The only
Sí.
problem,
And we can
Marcos,
use the
with me
cuando
using a different
termine,
yeah,
mitaría.
yeah. Well, you're right. Sometimes we always have things that can go off in different directions, right? Me gustaría verte. I would like to see you. But yeah, so keep it simple. And notice these are all present to present, present to present. We have no past ideas here yet. You can use subjunctive with past ideas, but that's a more complicated process. And you hear this present subjunctive a lot. This is a frequent thing you will hear about. Does that make sense? My only problem with sending you off to a website for now is that sometimes in a website they will use every example possible, and it gets into so many rules that it gets to be hard to understand. Um, there is a video I will give you a link to. Only watch it. Only watch it if you really kind of like the philosophical, this is the way they think, because it is an insight into that. And this is the girl who says this is a piece of to use the whole wishes, verbs of emotion, impersonal expressions, doubt. She says, throw that all out of the window because what, and she does give a couple of examples, but it is very philosophical. If you don't like that kind of thing, don't watch the video. But it is an insight to how they think because how this is how they think. According to my friend, she said, I use subjunctive 40% of the time that I talk, just sitting around the kitchen table. 40% is pretty high. It's almost half. Yeah. So it makes sense so far? See? A little
Sí.
bit?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, getting an insight to how they think is, yeah, one thing. I think that is going to be enough. I could tell you to go do something else, but I think that's enough. See? Bien?
Okay.
Vale? Okay.
Alrighty.
Fantástico.
Yes.
Bien. It does not feel supernatural, but it will be super comfortable to hear people use those phrases once you get used to the pattern, get used to the pattern, get used to the pattern. Are there workarounds that you can do? Sometimes there are. Yay. But, but whether or not you want to say it, other people are going to use it speaking to you. That's a fact. So you have to be prepared to hear it. So, okay. Bien, todo bien,
Bien.
Sí.
todo bien.
Adiós.
Excelente. Espero que tenga muy buen fin de semana. Espero que tenga muy buen fin de. You have not had your weekend yet, and neither have I. Espero que tengamos buen fin de semana. Ok. ¿Sí? Vale, bueno.
Y es
Ok.
mejor que la el fin de semana pasada.
Ah,
Pasado.
Sí, cualquier cosa sería un fin de semana mejor que el fin de semana pasada. Sí, ya. Ok, muchísimas
Adiós.
gracias. Bueno, hasta luego.